Have you ever looked at a really simple object, maybe something you've seen a million times, and wondered, what's the story here? Well, what if I told you that this simple piece of candy holds a story that stretches back over 500 years? Today, we are unwrapping the surprisingly deep and, yeah, wonderfully sweet history of a true cultural icon. Let's get into it.
Okay, so here it is. This is a Patushok na palichke, which means little rooster on a stick. It's a classic Russian lollipop made from burnt sugar. I mean, you can almost feel that sticky wooden stick in your hand and see the sun shining right through its golden amber body. But believe me, this is so much more than just sugar.
And that's really the big question, isn't it? Russian chronicles actually mention lollipops like this one as far back as 1489. So how on earth did this one specific shape, the rooster, become an icon that has lasted for centuries? Well, the story is absolutely fascinating. So first things first, let's start with the simple magic of how it's actually made. The process is so straightforward that for generations, especially during the Soviet era, this was a treat that people just made right in their own kitchens.
The word you need to know is patushuk, which literally means little rooster. And yeah, while other shapes of lollipops definitely exist, the patushuk is so famous that the name itself has basically become the word for any kind of lollipop like this.
The process itself feels almost alchemical. You start with just sugar and water, heating it up nice and slow, stirring constantly so it doesn't burn. And as it boils, you watch it transform, turning into this beautiful golden syrup. Sometimes people add a little honey or molasses for flavor, or a bit of citric acid to keep it from getting grainy. Then that super hot liquid gets poured into oiled molds, which used to be these heavy metal or carved wooden things. You pop in a stick, and then you just have to wait for it to cool and harden. Simple, right?
But where this candy really gets interesting is its history. This humble little treat has a story that takes us from bustling street fairs all the way to the royal court.
So we're talking about a history that goes back over 500 years, which is just wild. In the early days, you'd see shapes like fish and houses. The rooster was apparently too complex to make back then. But by the 19th century, the patushok was everywhere, at public festivals and fairs. It was the ultimate treat for a kid. And then during the Soviet era, when sweets from the store were harder to come by, the smell of burnt sugar would fill kitchens all over as families made their own. And that really cemented the patushok as this powerful, nostalgic symbol of childhood.
So, how did the rooster become the star of the show? Well, there's this one great legend from the 19th century. Apparently, a confectioner named Nikolai Shishkov gave one to the future Tsar Alexander II. He loved it and immediately ordered 2 baskets, one for his mother and one for his secret beloved. Well, the story goes that the baskets got mixed up, the secret love affair got out, and the rooster lollipop became forever linked with a bit of royal scandal.
Okay, so a little royal drama might have helped things along, for sure, but that still doesn't get to the heart of it. Why a rooster? The answer isn't in a candy shop. It's deep in the world of folk art and ancient beliefs.
And this is where we get to the really cool part. We know there were other shapes. So what was so special about the rooster that it just completely captured the cultural imagination and held on for hundreds of years?
And boom, here's your answer, laid out right in front of you. On the left, we've got our candy. On the right, traditional folk embroidery. The connection is just unmistakable. This lollipop isn't some random shape. It's an edible version of a powerful symbol that is woven, literally, into the fabric of the culture.
You see, in folk tradition, the rooster was never just some bird pecking around a farm. No way. It was the earthly stand-in for the sun, chasing away the darkness and evil spirits with its morning crow. It's a guardian, a symbol of time, of fire, and even of resurrection and eternal life. So, to give a child a rooster lollipop was, in a small way, like giving them a protective good luck charm.
And you can see that guardian role so clearly in traditional embroidery, like on this ceremonial towel. See how the 2 roosters stand guard over that central symbol, which often represents a tree of life? These weren't just pretty decorations. They were meant to protect the home and the family.
And if you want to go even deeper, the symbol goes back even further. Look at how these roosters are stylized into an S shape. This is an ancient graphic form, sometimes linked to the snake or the concept of infinity and the endless cycle of life. This isn't just a bird, it's a piece of incredibly deep, symbolic history that you can hold right in your hand.
Okay, so that's the past. But what about now? How does an ancient symbol like this fit into our world today? Well, the story isn't over.
This symbol isn't some relic stuck in a museum. It's being actively reimagined as we speak.
I absolutely love this phrase from Moscow's Higher School of Economics Design School. Designers aren't just copying old patterns, they are working with the DNA of a craft. They're taking the core essence, the meaning of these traditional symbols, and finding brand new ways for them to speak to people today.
And this is what that looks like. That same proud rooster that was once embroidered on a towel can now show up on a cool t-shirt, a piece of silver jewelry, or a modern ceramic plate. It's all about taking that cultural DNA and creating something new and exciting that resonates with people right now.
So the next time you see one of these golden rooster lollipops, you're not just looking at a sweet nostalgic treat. You're seeing a living cultural language, one that connects ancient symbols, royal legends, homemade tradition, and modern design, all in one simple piece of hardened sugar.
And that brings me to a final question for you. Think about it for a second. What's the Petushak of your culture? What simple, everyday object is all around you that holds a surprisingly deep and fascinating story, just waiting for someone to unpack it? Thanks for watching.